Hi friends, I just wanted to do a video about human trafficking. So I had lived in Montana for some years and now I'm in South Dakota. And so one hears about human trafficking a lot in this part of the country, and I'm sure it's even probably worse on the coasts or something, but it seems to me people don't really know what it is. I didn't know what it was until I was in Montana, and people that I'd known uh, for years. I mean, nobody that's been through it, unless they're an activist, talks about it. But also from looking at this website, according to statistics, Native women, First Nations, First Peoples women comprise 40% of sex trafficking victims in the state. So, um, as we know, statistics are usually careful, cautious. So we know there's probably more, and that is not taking into account in the nation we have 800,000 children that are kidnapped, and so there's probably a lot of First Nations children that are kidnapped and used in sex trafficking. As I understand, this kind of slavery, and that's what it is. It's slavery. The trafficking is slavery, and this type of slavery is the most lucrative um, um, underground business because it's a renewable resource. You want to talk about sustainability among drugs, among out of selling weapons, sex trafficking of humans and adults and children is sustainable because it's a renewable resource until they're killed, murdered, or they die. So, uh, so what is trafficking? Looks like there's a couple different definitions here. The recruitment, harboring, transportation, provision, obtaining of a person for the purpose of the Commercial Sex Act, which is induced by force, fraud, coercion, or where the person has yet to attain the age of 18 years old. So that's part A. Part B, the recruitment, harboring, transportation, provision, obtaining of a person for labor or services through the use of force, fraud, coercion for the purpose of subjection to involuntary servitude, peonage, debt bondage, or slavery. Human trafficking can take many forms, such as domestic servitude, factory labor that resembles prisons, farm work by migrants. And this is why I actually was really compelled to make this video. I worked at an organic farm in Oregon, and the working conditions were absolutely horrible. I was paid minimum wage and not paid for all the hours I worked. And I filed a complaint with the Bureau of Labor and Industry, who then, after a lot of going back and forth, they were able to get me my $4 an hour. I made $4.25 an hour, and the missing, like we worked like 60 hours a week and they only paid me for like 40 hours a week. So I got the balance due from what these organic farmers were gouging from their laborers that they worked us to death, and horrible living conditions. And they did this also to the illegal immigrants that they hired. And organic farms hire illegal immigrants because farm labor is abusive, negligent, just horrible working conditions. There's nobody evaluating it. I contacted OSHA about this situation. OSHA, I don't know if they get bribed. I think they get bribed. There's like one person serving like the whole state or something like that. And when I followed up on this one particular situation, the number of workers just kept decreasing. They had like two people working, and then I was just like one person. And there's just an incredible scam going on in, let's say, the farm industry. I don't know if it's in the larger corporate farms because it's not a whole lot of manual labor. They're just running large machines and everything is kind of factory uh, farmed. But in this very labor intensive industry of what I experienced with organic farming, and these are places that promote themselves as this idyllic save the world, save the whales kind of a place, but it's totally abusive. And these are folks that are on the willing workers. Uh, um, I can't remember willing. It's the woofers and ATRA. This particular firm also posted on ATRA. And I have talked to other people who've done these kind of work gigs where it was abusive, where just like it's like total slave labor. And I've also talked to people who are getting like a master's in organic farming, and they said that this is just the way it is in the industry. And I had worked in corporate America, not high level, but corporate America has to follow certain rules because their legal team makes sure that they don't violate human rights. But these little businesses, these little organic farms, they don't care. They're not worried. Uh, and the thing is, like the people who are have to work at farms just have no, like we're desperate people. Like I was working at a farm, one, because I thought it would be a good experience. I had no idea how horrible it was. And I got progressively sicker and sicker the longer I was there. So I wasn't able to pull myself out of that situation. And also, I was getting a lot of, like, there was just hundreds and hundreds of different bugs in the place that I was living, like, just infested with ladybugs and hornets and spiders and whatnot. And and I got a lot of different, I think, infections. Like their pet cat would claw, like how cats put out their nails and kind of claw your skin. And I would just get these little leg sores. And I don't know if I got like cat scratch fever, but I believe I got some type of Lyme co-infection, maybe parasites, because we didn't always have access to the bathroom. Um, anyway, so long story short, not only is human trafficking, forced prostitution on vulnerable populations and little children being sacrificed, it's also in labor. It's also done to illegal immigrants, and also just people who don't know any better, like myself. Like, and I just didn't know what I was getting into, and then I got really sick. Like I was crawling around to just do my job, and I didn't have anything to back me up to leave the situation. So anyways, when people get in a really bad situation, it's not just that they're so stupid, it's that they may have actually become so debilitated physically, emotionally, and mentally that they're not able to make good decisions. And what a good civilization, what a healthy civilization is you watch other people's back. I mean, you don't live their life for them, but you provide some kind of moral support, and just there has to be some type of um, infrastructure. And I don't know if it's in churches or just people, but I do think if you notice something, it's good to speak up. Just let people mirror what you're seeing. Like if you're seeing a friend who seems very like she's in an abusive situation, and they seem very unhappy, just say, well, that seems like an abusive situation and you look unhappy. Like it's important to give the people around you a reality check. And if somebody's doing great, it's good to say, hey, you handled that difficult situation really well. Like if you're at a grocery store or a gas station, and the clerk who's getting paid $8 an hour is doing just like world class hostage negotiations or something like that. And that's what I find a lot to be the case, is that there's a lot of really exceptionally skilled people who aren't being adequately compensated. So anyways, my long story short is that organic farming and farming, but organic farming, is a culprit in my personal experience of human trafficking. And that these organic farmers are just they're getting that street credibility. Oh, I'm an organic farmer, so everybody loves them. But these people are predators. Like I worked at a CSA, and they were totally predatory. They did a bait and switch. They promised us an apartment, and instead we got an incredibly moldy like storage space that had a bunk bed. It was just absolutely disgusting, totally unhealthy. And they just knew that they could get away with it because we didn't know enough about our rights. And this one person, one of the members was one of the founding people was an attorney. So she knew she was breaking the law. She knew. And she believed she was above the law. And these people are claiming to be permaculture experts, or like the people who are running these kind of gigs more often than not are sketchy, shady people without integrity, but they do these organic farm or this permaculture or this like retreat center or something to get the credibility, to get the love, but they're the antithesis. They're antithetical. Their values, their behavior is antithetical to the real roots of sustainability or permaculture or organic or saving the world. It's mind-boggling. I mean, it's diabolical. And like that really broke me when after working at this organic farm where I'm like, I thought my values were similar to their values, and I was just like, it was just so absolutely horrible what happened. And it wasn't even like, I mean, it's just like incredibly negligent, conscienceless, and it was all this kind of soft abuse. It was nothing that you could ever, no stabbings, no stranglings, but abuse was there nonetheless. And anyway, I just wanted to do a video about that. So thanks for listening.